WWE is reportedly not happy with a Sports Illustrated article that suggested possible spoilers for not only the Royal Rumble this weekend, but also WrestleMania 40. Plenty of details on that. Plus, Sting and Darby Allin are set to challenge for the AEW World Tag Team titles on Dynamite in a couple of weeks' time on the road to Sting's retirement match at AEW Revolution later on this year. Their possible opponents at Revolution, the Young Bucks, have undergone a name change on AEW Dynamite. We'll talk about that. Adam Copeland faced off against Minoru Suzuki last night. We've got an update on possible surprises for the Women's Royal Rumble match this weekend. We've got the ratings for this past Tuesday's episode of NXT on the USA Network. Matches for Rampage, Collision, and next week's Dynamite have been announced. Plus, Nick Khan gives more details on the big deal to bring Monday Night Raw to Netflix beginning in January 2025. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Let's start off talking about this article yesterday that certainly made a lot of headlines. We covered it when it came from Sports Illustrated, giving an inclination as to what could happen this weekend at the Royal Rumble and possibly some of the bigger matches at WrestleMania 40, one of which does not involve Cody Rhodes not only main eventing one of the nights of the premium live event, but also not finishing his story to capture the undisputed WWE Universal Championship entirely. Now, WWE reportedly is not happy about an article that allegedly featured some spoilers for this Saturday's January 27 Royal Rumble Premium Live event. An article came out in Sports Illustrated's Fan Nation section yesterday from Justin Barrasso previewing the Rumble and the road to WrestleMania. The story featured a few lines that were seemingly presented as leaked spoilers, including, after mentioning Roman Reigns versus The Rock for WrestleMania, it said, quote, "Where does this leave Cody Rhodes? Multiple sources close to WWE head of creative Paul Triple H Levesque have indicated that Rhodes will not headline this year's event, nor will he, quote, finish his story at WrestleMania, end quotes." Now, the article seemed to suggest that Cody Rhodes versus CM Punk was the new plan for WrestleMania, but that just might have been because of the segment on this past Monday's episode of Raw. Of course, that was the Rumble Go Home show. There were also a few other similar lines that some readers read as leaks, but may have just been predictions, such as, quote, "After a month of speculation that CM Punk would challenge World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, a new plan is in place. Gunther is the favorite to win the Royal Rumble and then dethrone Rollins on the first night of WrestleMania." Now, later that same day, WrestleVotes posted about the reaction internally from WWE to the article and also addressed the potentially naive nature of some of it. Here's what they tweeted. They said, quote, "Regarding the Sports Illustrated / WrestleMania 40 reports, and after speaking to a few of my own contacts, I believe the following. Those three matches could absolutely happen in Philadelphia. However, the set-in-stone nature of the article is a little naive, I've been told." Source also relayed that WWE is not happy with the report in general, especially labeling it as sources close to Triple H, as if he'd be so open with this type of specific information. So once again, WWE reportedly not happy about that. What was your reaction to the article? Do you agree with what WrestleVotes and reportedly some are saying within WWE that it's a bit naive? Is it possible that those matches could take place? Do you think it was just a case of people misinterpreting the actual nature of the article? What are your thoughts on it? What was your reaction to it? Let me know your thoughts as always in the comments section below. Now let's get to some developing and breaking news. It's just really broken in the last couple of minutes at the time recording this video, and that is the future about Kevin Patrick in WWE. It's now been confirmed, of course. It was reported previously that Kevin Patrick had been removed from the SmackDown commentary team. It was a pretty late change around sort of Monday evening time. It was later reported that Michael Cole would be replacing him temporarily, seemingly, on commentary beginning this Friday night, the Royal Rumble Go Home episode of SmackDown on Fox. But many people wondered what would happen with Kevin Patrick now that he was no longer the lead play-by-play guy on SmackDown. Would he go back to his previous duties as a host on panel shows and preview shows? Would he be a backstage interviewer? What would happen with him? Well, the latest news comes from Mike Johnson from PW Insider, who has said that WWE announcer Kevin Patrick has been officially released by WWE. PW Insider can confirm. As was reported earlier this week, Patrick was removed from his role As the lead announcer of Friday Night SmackDown, Patrick had been with WWE from 2021. However, reports indicated that those within WWE felt like it just wasn't working with Patrick as the lead play-by-play guy with SmackDown. As mentioned, Michael Cole will replace him beginning tomorrow night live on SmackDown on Fox. However, the long-term replacement has yet to be decided. Who do you think should replace Kevin Patrick, and what do you think of his run in WWE? Now, let's talk about AEW, and let's talk about the AEW World Tag Team Championships possibly going to Darby Allin and Sting. Sting will be up for an AEW Championship match in 2 weeks on Dynamite as he partners with Darby Allin for a big title shot. Announced on last night's edition of AEW Dynamite, a big upcoming title shot for the pair as they get closer to AEW Revolution. Ahead of their apparent match against the Young Bucks at the pay-per-view in March, it seems that a new target has emerged for Sting and Darby. Taking to the ring last night to give a promo and ultimately issue a challenge, Darby Allin noted that since the rankings were back and their tag team was undefeated in 2024, they deserved an AEW World Tag Team Championship opportunity. After Sting agreed to chase gold with his protege Darby, there was a response from the current tag team champions Ricky Starks and Big Bill. Accepting Sting and Darby's challenge for 2 weeks' time on AEW Dynamite, Big Bill and Ricky Starks seemed remarkably unafraid of the Icon and Darby Allin. So, seemingly, we're going to be getting this match in a couple of weeks' time. Do you think we're going to see a title change? And what do you think this means for Sting as retirement match at Revolution later on this year? Is he going to team up with Darby Allin to face off against the Young Bucks? Is that going to be for the AEW World Tag Team Championships? Could Sting drop the championship to the Young Bucks in his final match? Or is he going to retire as one half of the AEW World Tag Team Champions? Now, speaking of the Young Bucks, seemingly they've officially undergone a name change. After encouraging people to call them by their God-given names and last night passport names, 2 AEW stars have officially made the change. The AEW roster page has been updated to reflect that Matt and Nick Jackson shall henceforth be referred to as Matthew and Nicholas Jackson. The Young Bucks recently returned with brand new mustaches, ushering in a new era of Young Bucks lore, this time complete with executive swagger. Marching through the backstage area on last night's Dynamite, the pair was stopped by Alex Marvez, who, however, instead of an interview, the Jacksons would end up sharing general corporate sounding platitudes and keeping it moving. Catching up with Top Flight, who were walking in the hall, the pair threatened to fine Dante and Darius Martin for having been tardy, noting that they were joking, but adding that they would fine them for being late in the future. Of course, it was then pointed out that the Young Bucks had only just arrived at the arena too. What do you make of the new Young Bucks gimmick? Do you like it? Are you against it? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Now, last night saw the first ever meeting between Adam Copeland and Minoru Suzuki. The Cope Open continues, and Adam Copeland still has his sights set on the TNT champion Christian Cage. In recent weeks, Adam Copeland has been holding an open challenge, which has fittingly been named the Cope Open. He has picked up victories against the likes of Griff Garrison, Lee Moriarty, and Dante Martin, but he faced a major test on the January 24 episode of AEW Dynamite as Minoru Suzuki accepted the challenge. Suzuki had wrestled on AEW programming multiple times in the past, and his clash with Copeland was his latest buzzworthy bout. In the first ever match between the two, Copeland held his own with the New Japan legend from the beginning. Suzuki is known for his brutally stiff strikes, and Copeland traded blows with him. Copeland then surprised Suzuki by sending both of them crashing through the ringside barricade with a tackle. Suzuki nearly scored the victory as he trapped Copeland in a sleeper hold, but the Rated R superstar fought his way free. He went for a spear, and while Suzuki countered, Copeland persevered. In the end, he sent Suzuki headfirst into an uncovered turnbuckle, and he sent a message to TNT champion Christian Cage by pinning Suzuki with a kill switch. Copeland tried to show his respect for Suzuki by offering him a handshake after the bell, but the New Japan star blew him off. Shifting gears to Christian Cage, who was shown watching backstage, Copeland called out the champion, who said that he was still coming for him. So possibly the Cope Open is going to continue until Adam Copeland gets that next opportunity at Christian Cage and his TNT championship. Now, possible spoilers ahead when it comes to the Royal Rumble this weekend, particularly when it comes to the Women's Royal Rumble, as we add some possible surprise entrants. If you don't wish to be spoiled, feel free to skip ahead. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You have been warned. Let's start off talking about Jade Carill and some other people that could be involved in the Rumble matches this weekend. Although even just days remain until the Royal Rumble Premium Live event, the marquee matches for the event, the men's and women's Royal Rumble matches, have pretty scarce participation, which people are enjoying because they like the surprises. Now, this is especially the case for the women's Royal Rumble match, which currently has only 6 participants announced, leaving the match having 24 spots open. Fortunately, it appears at least 2 of these slots could be filled by a returning wrestler and one highly anticipated debut. PW Insider is reporting that one of those names should be Sonya Deville, who has been at the WWE Performance Center recently and is expected to be part of the match. Deville, who has served as both a wrestler and an authority figure during her WWE career, hasn't been seen since August, where she tore her ACL shortly after winning the Women's Tag Team Championships with Chelsea Green. Another name expected is former AEW TBS champion Jade Cargill, who signed with WWE several months ago now, but is yet to wrestle an official match for the promotion. Though she isn't confirmed for the match, Cargill is expected to be in Tampa Bay for the premium live event. The former AEW star is said to have been a regular at the WWE Performance Center, training for her eventual debut. And one name unlikely to appear is Alexa Bliss, the former 5-time women's champion who missed most of 2023 on maternity leave, giving birth to her first child in November. Though Bliss isn't expected for the match, it was noted that she could be a last-second addition to the match as she lives in Florida. A return in the Rumble match would be a full-circle moment for Bliss, whose last match to date was challenging Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's Championship at last year's Royal Rumble Premium Live event, but it is unexpected at this point. Who would you like to see appear in the Women's Royal Rumble? Let me know your predictions and wishes in the comment section below. Now let's talk about the ratings for this Tuesday's episode of NXT, with the stars of NXT getting prepared for the Vengeance Day Premium Live event on February 4. How many fans tuned in to see the latest episode on USA Network? This week's episode of the show saw a chaotic segment build up to an NXT Women's title bout between Lyra Valkyria and Roxanne Perez. Baron Corbin and Bron Breakker reached the final of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, and Trick Williams prepare himself for his NXT Championship match against Ilya Dragunov with a victory over Josh Briggs. However, it seems not as many people were interested as last week. The January 23rd edition of NXT drew an average of 642,000 viewers, according to WrestleNomics, which is a 6% drop from last week's 683,000. However, the key demographic of 18 to 49-year-olds finished at a 0.19, the exact same number from last week's show. While this week's show was down 10% from the trailing 4 weeks, it isn't all doom and gloom for the show. As a testament to how far the brand has come in the past year, there's been a 12% increase in viewership compared to January 2023. On top of this, the 18 to 49 demographic is up a staggering 50% from this time last year, as the show was averaging a 0.14 number in January of 2023. So despite the number being down this week, in comparison to this time last year, NXT is doing much, much better than it previously was. Obviously, these quarter-hour breakdown ratings come from WrestleNomics. Shout out to them. Be sure to subscribe to their Patreon and visit their website. NXT did face competition from both sports and major news coverage on Tuesday nights. TNT aired the NBA game between the New York Knicks and Brooklyn Nets, which averaged 989,000 viewers and a 0.31 in the 18 to 49 demographic, while major news outlets had coverage of the New Hampshire primary elections, obviously involved in that as well. So there was strong competition when it came to NXT. What do you think of the ratings? What do you think of the show? And what do you think about NXT going to the CW network later on this year? Now, Friday means another episode of AEW Rampage on TNT, and several matches have been announced for the January 26th episode. First, a freshly squeezed match will go down as Commander, Kip Sabian, The Butcher, and El Hijo del Vikingo all face each other in a four-way bout to determine the number one contender to the AEW International Championship, which is held currently by Orange Cassidy. Also, Jon Moxley will look to further dismantle Shane Taylor Promotions as he takes on Lee Moriarty in singles action. Furthermore, Christopher Daniels will take on Konosuke Takeshita, and Anna Jay will face off against Ruby Soho. So several matches announced for Friday's episode on TNT. Speaking of announced matches on TNT, we've got several matches announced for this Saturday's episode of AEW Collision. First, a massive dream match will go down as Bryan Danielson faces Yuji Nagata in a singles bout. Also, two big women's bouts will take place as Mariah May takes on Lady Frost, and Serena Deeb makes her return to the ring against a currently unknown opponent. This will be Deeb's first match since October of 2022. Of course, as previously announced, FTR will team with Daniel Garcia to face off against the House of Black in an Escape the Cage elimination match. Of course, this show will be going head-to-head with the Royal Rumble Premium Live event as well, so stiff competition to say the least for AEW Collision this weekend. Speaking of matches as well, several matches have been announced for next week's episode of AEW Dynamite. That's the January 31st episode. First, two Dealer's Choice matches will take place. Hangman Adam Page will face an opponent of Swerve Strickland's choosing, while Strickland will take on an opponent of Page's choosing. Also, Taya Valkyrie will look to pick up her first AEW win of 2024 as she faces Deonna Purrazzo. Obviously, if we get any more information or any more matches are announced for next week's episode, we'll of course let you know. finally, Nick Khan, obviously it's been a very busy week for WWE to say the least. He's been doing the rounds talking about Monday Night Raw's deal to bring Raw exclusively to Netflix, domestically and internationally, beginning in January 2025. WWE and Netflix have announced a landmark $5 billion streaming deal for the rights to WWE Raw, as well as WWE's premium live events. In an interview with Bloomberg TV, WWE's Nick Khan explained how the deal will greatly benefit both parties. He said, quote, "It was yet another test of someone new in the space, obviously an established streaming entity, the streaming entity, if you will. It was a good bet by us, and I think we get a good bet by them," Khan said. "There is no upcharge for WrestleMania or any other premium live events," Khan said. He noted that WWE was the first wrestling company to move away from traditional pay-per-view model with the creation of the WWE Network in 2014, which helped bring the price point for WWE pay-per-views way down, and he sees the Netflix deal as a continuation of that practice. He said, quote, "A company of our size, as great as we like to believe we are, we're not going to compete with the Amazons of the world, the Netflixes of the world, the NBCUs of the world," said the WWE president. "We think this deal will lead to more ad pricing power. You've seen what Amazon has been able to do with their ad-supported tier. Netflix is going to have great success in that space," Khan gushed, believing Netflix will be able to monetize each 3-hour Raw in ways that have been unheard of until now. The next year is going to see a lot of change, of course, for WWE, who doesn't just have the streaming deal with Netflix going into effect in 2025, but will also be moving SmackDown from Fox to Raw's old home of the USA Network. NXT will, of course, move from the CW, marking the first time WWE has been on network television in over, broadcast television rather, in over a decade. But there you go, guys. This latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash the like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.